So I am dealing with an injury. It's my first real powerlifting injury, so working on that. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have just finished week 1 of my training for provincials. We are now 8 weeks out from provincials. I found out that I lift on July 10th, which is a Sunday. The schedule is not finalized, but this is a tentative schedule, and I would think that's unlikely to change. So if you are in the Slave Lake area, feel free to stop by. I'm sure there will be a live stream, so once I have those details, I will share them with you. So before I get into my training, I wanted to mention one thing that I've been dealing with this week because it influenced my training selections and my exercises and just the loads that I was able to perform. I am dealing with an injury. It's my first real powerlifting injury, injury caused by powerlifting. I had a back injury a couple years ago that was aggravated by cleaning my floor after my basement flooded. Like, not a cool injury story at all, and that took forever to heal. So what's actually bothering me this time is this right shoulder right here. So I've sort of had shoulder issues on and off for quite a while. Nothing major, just I would sort of notice it from time to time. Like, I drive a manual transmission vehicle and sometimes shifting gears is a little painful, but it was really starting to bug me. I noticed it especially after squats, after low bar squats is when I really noticed it. And I was starting to notice it on bench. I would just feel very unstable when I unracked the bar and was in like that position at the top. It would just feel like I really had to protect this shoulder. So I went to a physiotherapist this week, and I also went to a chiropractor this week, and they both seemed to think it was very minor. So I'm glad to hear that. But it seems like there is some kind of impingement in my rotator cuff. So not ideal, but we can work through it. So my physio gave me some exercises to do. I have been doing them diligently every single day. And my chiropractor just, worked it, kind of clicked things back into place where they should be. Essentially, I think the issue is that my shoulders are kind of rolling forward is how it was described to me. Like, my chest muscles, my pecs are pulling my shoulders forward instead of a neutral position. So working on that. So with that little disclaimer, that little background, this week's training was a little bit interesting. I had 1 day of raw squats. I was doing high bar squats, and then I had 1 day of equipped squats. I have 1 day of deadlifts, of raw deadlifts. This week they were pause deadlifts, so just pause right off the floor. And then 1 day of equipped deadlifts. And for bench, I have 3 bench days, 3 classic bench days, and then 1 equipped bench day. That's always shirted Saturdays. I didn't do any low bar squats at all this week. So my raw squats were high bar, and then my equipped squats were high bar also, which I don't love. I definitely feel stronger in a low bar position, but just working around my shoulder, getting into that, that position really kind of bugged my shoulder. So I've been avoiding that. My chiropractor suggested I sort of start to play around with it and just sort of get that stretch until it starts feeling strong enough again. So I will start doing that gradually in the coming weeks. And one thing I did work on also with equipped squats is widening my foot position. I have a very narrow squat stance, and even in equipped, I definitely feel more comfortable with the narrow squat stance, but Natalie asked me to widen my stance, so I did just a little bit, and that's why the videos from this week are filmed from the front. I normally don't love that angle, but my equipped squat, actually my squats in general, are definitely my weak point, so if we can work on the technique there, that is always what we're going to aim to do. Okay, and then for bench, so keeping the shoulder issue in mind, we touched my chest only twice this week, so only 1 workout raw and 1 workout equipped. On Monday, I did some Spoto presses, so just pausing, an inch or so off my chest. And then on day 3, I did some pin presses, so just off of the safeties at my gym. And those all moved really well. I didn't notice my shoulder bugging me too much on those. And interestingly, during the workout when I actually touched the bar to my chest, raw, I did 7 singles that day. So I started with 2 heavier singles, RPE 7 to 8, and then I backed off 5% for the remaining singles. And feels crazy to say, but 215 actually feels pretty routine now. So we're definitely making some progress there. And for equipped bench, for my warm-up triple that I did before I put on my shirt, I worked up to 93.5 kilos. So that is definitely a PR for a triple. I had done 92.5 the week before, which I'm pretty sure was a personal best. And normally I was just doing triples at 90, and some weeks that was pretty challenging. So I'm pretty happy with how those have been moving. And then when I put my shirt on, so this was my first week back in my competition shirt. So this is the shirt we've been saving for competition training. And I have never worn the shirt in competition. I just had a few weeks in it, I think at the new year or just before the new year. And the sleeves are a little bit looser. So when I put the shirt on, it is definitely more comfortable than my other shirt. I still have circulation in my hands, so bonus. But we worked up to 140 kilos. And the week before we benched 142.5 kilos in my training shirt. So I'm gonna take the sleeves in on my competition shirt and see if that doesn't give me a little more pop, because I sort of had the feeling that my training shirt, the one that I've worn to previous competitions, just has a little more pop off the chest. So I don't know, I'll try to take the sleeves in a bit. I've never done that before myself. I had somebody else do it in the past, so fingers crossed I don't screw up the stitch too bad. I'm not much of a sewer. But anyway, we will give that a go. And as Natalie said when I checked in with her, if we're using 140 kilos as a gauge as to which shirt to use, that's a pretty big win. My competition best is 127.5, so no, 127. So we are definitely in some unexplored territory. I will mention here actually one thing that she told me recently that has stuck with me, and that is that in order to bench more, you have to be willing to put more weight on the bar. So just with the mindset that I have to be able to load it and I have to be able to try it in order to lift it. So sort of getting past those mental blocks, those mental barriers to push more weight. So I'm definitely keeping that in mind for the next few weeks. And I'm very, very excited about where Equipped Bench is going. I cannot wait to see what I get to do on the platform. You know, we still have 7 more weeks of training, so lots of time to make improvements. And then deadlifts. Deadlifts have been a huge surprise lately, and I don't know where this came from, but all my deadlifts felt really, really good this week. I was able to work up to 275 pounds, and the weight moved very, very smoothly. And I don't know if my form is improving, but in the past, especially given my former back injury, I would sometimes feel it in my low back when I pulled. But I mean, knock on wood, lately things have been moving really well, and I have not had any pain or any twinges or anything, so I hope that continues. And then equipped deadlifts, I managed to triple my competition best of 335 pounds. So like my comp best is 150 kilos, so I think that's 330 pounds. And the third rep was a struggle, pretty shaky, but still 3 reps with the competition best. Like I think we've got some good things coming at Provincials, so very, very excited about that. Sort of an unexpected improvement, so not complaining, good stuff. One thing I have been working on this week for my deadlifts is locking my knees just before I put my hips through. So instead of doing that at the same time, which is sort of what I had been doing, lock my knees and then hips through. So it still feels a little weird, it still feels a little bit unnatural, but I think once I get that timing down, I think that will really help take things even farther. So exciting stuff. All right, so that is basically the update for this week. CPU Nationals, so Canadian Powerlifting Union Nationals, were just this past week, so it was really, really exciting watching the live streams and seeing friends and lifters I respect compete. There were some huge numbers put up. We have some very, very impressive talent in Canada. So I cannot wait to watch IPF Worlds, which are coming up in like a month. So that is always super inspiring to watch. And Bench Worlds are coming up like next week, I think, which is super exciting. I know some people are going, some friends of mine. So I'm excited to cheer them on. And hopefully that will just light a fire under me to really push hard in these weeks leading into Provincials. Alright, so that's everything for this week. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more. And I'll see you all next week. Bye!